Right, and the idea was that the sins were imputed to the goat. They were put on the goat, and then the goat was taken away by a fit man, a man who was fit to do the job, and he took the goat to where it would wander forever, and those sins would never be remembered again by God. Now, it was all a type or a shadow, of course, and we know that that's true, but it's a wonderful type. It's incredible, really, and only God could have put it together in this way. The high priest then went back into the tabernacle again, this time only into the holy place, not to the Holy of Holies. He then took off the holy garments, the special garments, verse 23, and Aaron shall come into the tabernacle of the congregation and shall put off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. And he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place, and put on his garments, and come forth and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering for the people. Now we get to this. So he'd go into the holy place, not the Holy of Holies, and wash himself again and put on his normal priestly garments, and he would then come out before the people again. He then sacrificed his ram for himself and for the office of the priesthood for a burnt offering, not a sin offering, a burnt offering, with the fat of the sin offering though, because every sin offering, the fat had to be offered and burnt, but not the sin offering itself, right? Not on the brazen altar. And so he then sacrificed the ram for the people, for the whole congregation, for a burnt offering, along with the fat of their sin offering, verse 24, and he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place, and put on his garments, and come forth, and offer his burnt offering, the burnt offering of the people, and make an atonement for himself and for the people. Now, this was also to make an atonement. These burnt offerings were made on the altar in the tabernacle court in plain view of the congregation, and they were burnt offerings for atonement. The blood of these burnt offerings was sprinkled on the altar and then poured out beside it. The fat of the sin offering was also burnt on the altar in the tabernacle court along with the burnt offerings. 24 and 25 tells us about that. And verse 25, and the fat of the sin offering shall he burn on the altar. And it says, then he that let go the goat for the scapegoat, he comes back later on and he washes his clothes and bathes himself and goes through a ceremony, right, to make himself clean again. The bodies of the bullock and the goat, whose blood was brought into the Holy of Holies, they were the sin offerings. Now their bodies are there still. They haven't done anything with them. They've taken the blood, but they haven't done anything with them. Now they take the fat of them, and they were sin offerings to make an atonement, and they were carried outside the camp and totally burnt, verses 27 and 28. And the bullock for the sin offering and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the holy place, shall one carry forth without the camp. Get that in your mind. That's what makes it the sin offering. They were taken without the camp, and they shall burn in the fire their skins and their flesh and their dung, everything. And he that burneth them shall wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. And the next verse said, this shall be a statute forever unto you, that in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls. That's a very important part of it. And do no work at all, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger that sojourneth among you. For on that day shall the priest make an atonement for you to cleanse you, that you may be clean from all your sins before the Lord. And that we see that this is an everlasting covenant that God makes with them through this day of atonement. He says in verse 31, it shall be a Sabbath of rest unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls by a statute forever. Right, it's eternal. And the priest whom he shall anoint, and whom he shall consecrate to minister in the priest's office in his father's stead, This is the high priests in future. Every high priest is replaced by his eldest son as the high priest. He shall make the atonement. So it's always the high priest and only the high priest. And he shall put on the linen clothes, even the holy garments, and he shall make an atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make an atonement for the tabernacle of the congregation and for the altar, and he shall make an atonement for the priests and for all the people of the congregation. And this shall be an everlasting statute unto you, to make an atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year. And he did as the Lord commanded Moses. Aaron did exactly what God told Moses to have him do. So this Day of Atonement is the 10th day of the seventh month, and it was a statute forever, and we'll finish up there for this particular lecture. We're going to go on and look at it in more depth from now on and try to work out what it is about this simple, quite simple procedure that the high priest goes through. It's simple, but it's profound, because within it is God's plan of redemption for mankind, God's plan of atonement, God's plan for how he was going to deal with sin and for how sin was to be covered.